This meeting of the Standing Finance Committee is resumed. Honourable members, we will now move on to the draft estimates of the development programme. Subhead 09, Development Programme, Consolidated Fund. We are at page 130. Item 004, Social Infrastructure. Honourable members may have observed that item 004 spans 3 pages. Therefore, I will also announce the project groups. A, Culture. I believe we completed that. B, Community Development. Community Development at page 131. Item 005, Multi-sectoral and Other Services. Infrastructure Development Fund. Item 004, Social Infrastructure. Page 218 and 219. Honourable members, item 004. A, Culture. A, Community Development. Honourable members, the question is that the sum of $415,512,249 for Head 62, Ministry of Community Development. Ministry of Community Development, Culture and the Arts stand part of the schedule. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. Do you want a division? No. Okay, good. The sum of $415,512,249 for Head 62, Ministry of Community Development, Culture and the Arts now stand part of the schedule. Thank you, Minister. Thank you, PS. Head 78. And I would appreciate, since everybody has somewhere else to go, I have nowhere else to go, that for the last couple of heads, we conduct ourselves in a particular kind of way. I've heard every member here talk about parenting. I don't know what your children are thinking watching you all. Okay? Head 78, Ministry of Social Development and Family Services. Minister of Finance, I don't believe this is your head. Head 78, Ministry. Okay, so what I would ask, again, I keep telling members, we have added some lovely facilities. Member for Princess Tong, I don't appreciate you speaking when I'm speaking. Okay? We have added lovely facilities which help us. It helps us to keep attention. It helps us to exercise. It helps us to keep our thermostat down and so on. Let's don't waste the taxpayers' money with the facilities. We can visit them, take a little drink of water and come back. Head 78, Ministry of Social Development and Family Services, $4,968,500,000. I will now invite the Minister of Social Development and Family Services to make a brief opening statement, not exceeding 5 minutes. Minister.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Ministry of Social Development and Family Services has received the 4th highest allocation of $4.96 billion in the 2020 budget. This will help to ensure that the ministry continues to effectively carry out its mandate of maintaining the nation's safety net, including the provision of income support, the delivery of social services, and caring for and protecting our poor and other vulnerable groups from the impact of poverty. In keeping with the social transformation thrust of successive PNM governments, most of our grants and programs have been and will continue to be focused on poverty reduction. Over the last 4 years, despite our straitened economic circumstances, we consistently paid recipients of the Senior Citizen Pension, Disability Grant and Public Assistance Grant unreduced, enhanced, and the correct amounts on time. In fiscal 2018, $4 billion, or approximately 93% of the ministry's allocation, was spent on these grants. And in fiscal 2020, 93.7%, or $4.6 billion, has been so allocated. The importance of these poverty reduction programs cannot be overstated and should not be overlooked, as they constitute the only or main source of income for approximately 194,854 individuals and households in Trinidad and Tobago. In fiscal 2020, the ministry will therefore ensure that it continues to efficiently and effectively manage these and our other poverty reduction strategies, including the provision of 13 general assistance grants and 3 NSDP grants. We will continue to build resilience and self-sufficiency via the Social Transformation and Empowerment Program, Uplifting People, the SEED grant, and implementation of the National Social Mitigation Plan. Our Outreach and Empowerment Caravan has already brought the country's more than 100 grants and the social services directly to 5 communities in southwest Trinidad that were impacted by retrenchment and job loss. We have also been to 3 northeastern communities, and during 2020, we'll be bringing all social services to communities most affected by poverty. The ministry will also be focused on improving our targeting and allocation mechanisms, including a review of the standard means test to ensure that none of our most vulnerable is excluded. We will also improve our social service delivery by implementing an integrated social enterprise management system, paying all food support via our new debit card system, transitioning at least 90% of our benefit recipients to direct deposit, completing our business process reengineering exercise, and commencing the implementation of an organizational structure that enables our technology-driven integrated approach to service delivery. The government and this ministry is ever mindful of the needs of all our citizens and will continue to develop and implement programs and services that improve the quality of life of our nation's families, poor, disabled, elderly, and socially displaced, reduce poverty, and improve social justice. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Honourable members, the question is that the sum of $4,968,500,000 for Head 78, Ministry of Social Development and Family Services, stand part of the schedule. Honourable members, the sum of $4,968,500,000 for Head 78, Ministry of Social Development and Family Services, is comprised of monies proposed for expenditure under the following subheads and items to be found in the draft estimates of recurrent expenditure, the draft estimates of revenue and expenditure of the statutory boards and similar bodies and of the Tobago House of Assembly, and the draft estimates of the development program. We shall now proceed to consider the draft estimates of recurrent expenditure. Subhead 01, Personal Expenditure, and for the information of members, we are at page 397. Item 001, General Administration, Member for Kamuto Manzanilla.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Honourable Minister, line item 01. During the last standing Finance Committee, in response to a question posed on salaries and cost of living allowance, you had indicated that the allocation would be paid to 153 persons, 132 permanent and 21 temporary. Can you indicate at this stage, at the end of September 30th, 2019, what is the number of persons employed, please?
There are currently in the General Administration area. There are currently 154 persons, 133 permanent, 21 temporary.
So that means that one additional person would have been employed. Instead of 153, it's now 154, and instead of 132 permanent, it's 133.
Yes.
On line item 02, wages and COLA, I noticed that this line item is, there is no allocation to it. Could the Minister advise whether there is no estimate for 2020 as a result of job cuts, or
this relates to daily paid employees, and there are no daily paid employees currently at the ministry.
But there was an allocation prior. What has happened to those daily paid workers, Madam Minister?
There was one person and he has since retired.
One person. 08. Could the Honorable Minister indicate that the allocation here was not spent for the fiscal year? Could you indicate if there are any posts identified in this fiscal year to be filled?
There are 71 vacancies, 27 without bodies. Ideally, we would like to have the positions filled, but we await the Public Service Commission.
And can you advise, you could put that in writing, what are the classifications of the vacant posts?
Yes, we will do that.
Okay, go ahead. I'll wait on that then.
Okay, so item 003, social welfare. Member for Kamuto Mansanilla.
Thank you, Madam. Honorable Minister, can you indicate how many persons are employed in this, on the social welfare?
There are 251 persons, 216 permanent, and 35 temporary.
And these persons are dispersed throughout the various
Yes.
regional? Okay. And line item 06, remuneration. Could the Honorable Minister indicate whether the boards, all the boards have a full complement of members?
I think one board that is missing one member, but all of the other boards have their full complement.
Okay, because I noticed that there is in the allocation for 2018, the actual and also the revised for 2019 far surpass the amount that you have estimated for 2020. Is it that some members are not on board? Is it that they're different? What has happened for there to be such a decrease?
It's the same amount that was allocated for 2019 is the same amount that has been allocated for 2020.
In 2018, actual is 2539. The estimate was 25, but the actual revised in 2019 was 26.5, 2,650,000. So what I'm saying to you is that there is an estimate of $150,000 less, and I'm asking if it is that anyone would be would not receive their remuneration.
Honourable Member, I assure you that all sitting board members are paid their remuneration. And this is the amount that was allocated is the amount that the ministry would have requested.
Thank you. Thank you.
005, Child Development Center. Member for Kamuto Mansanilla.
Honorable Minister, again, can you indicate how many persons are employed and how many centers do you have?
There are 14 persons employed at present, and there is one center.
One center?
Yes, at Couva.
Okay. Is there any plan at all to have these centers throughout Trinidad and possibly Tobago?
No, there isn't. This center was established it's a government-funded preschool program, and it was established in relation to a specific situation that existed in Couva at the time, and is really intended to assist the children of vulnerable families.
Okay.
Item 006, National Family Services. Member for Kamuto Mansanilla.
Again, I'll ask Honorable Minister if under line item 01, how many persons are currently employed with the National Family Services?
Currently, there are 22 persons employed. 3 positions are filled, 19 are vacant, and 13 are without bodies. So
And
at
is it-
present, we have 9 persons functioning there.
And is this service able to handle the workload with such limited staff? And what is being done to bring the levels up to optimum?
We have
staffing?
been utilizing the contract officers. The complement of contract officers have complemented this.
Go ahead.
Are you finished, Member for Kamutu
Yes.
Martina? Subhead 02, Goods and Services. Item 001, General Administration. Member for Kamutu Martina.
Line item 01, can the Honorable Minister indicate how many persons will benefit from this travel and subsistence, and if it has been extended to field officers?
This allocation is with respect to all monthly paid traveling officers, but public servants.
Okay.
And it also covers travel to Tobago.
How many persons benefit from this? Because I know not all public servants receive traveling.
1 minute. It would be all the public officers. Could we provide that in writing,
Yes, you
please?
may. Line item 08, rent and lease. Can the Honorable Minister indicate what accounts for this increase? Of 1.15.
Currently, we rent 18 buildings, including 4 car parks and 1 off-site storage. There are also plans to relocate to King's Court. So we expect that our rent would increase. So this is in anticipation of us acquiring that additional building.
And in 09, can you indicate what is it you intend to rent and lease?
This would primarily be for equipment. We are not leasing any vehicles at present, and it has to deal with photocopiers.
Line item 10. Honorable Minister, is this increase here to pay arrears for stationery, or do you have adequate amount supplied to for the regional offices? Because in my area in Sandy Grande, we could not get any services as a result of no stationery.
Honorable Member, I'm not aware that we had offices that was not in receipt of stationery and supplies. However, this increase is going to be sufficient to take care of our needs. If you look at the figure in 2018 and even the revised estimate, the estimate for 2019, this $1,277,000 would be sufficient to take care of our needs.
Is it to take care of arrears as well, or this is a new budgeted figure that you have applied to take care of all the needs? Is there any arrears in this?
I know, I am advised there isn't. What may have happened, what the outstanding amounts may have been paid late in the last financial, so it's not reflected here.
Line item 16, contract employment. I know this is a decrease of 2.7 million. How many persons are currently on contract employment, and will the decrease impact upon the effective function of services?
No, currently we have 457 contract positions available, 134 are filled. The reason you are seeing this, this decrease here, Okay, yes. What has happened? We recognize that we have not been able to fill more than a certain number of positions each year. So based on our experience over the last 3 years, we are now in a better position to anticipate how many positions we can fill. So instead of budgeting for the entire number of vacancies, we have scaled it down in relation to what we believe we can fill.
And this is for the general administration?
This is for the entire organization.
Okay, Madam Minister, I don't know if you're aware that there are a number of offices that function on skeleton staff, and as a result of it, there is the services have really been short on services to those who are most vulnerable. And I really think that, the impact of this decrease here will really be significant in terms of the services being
Honorable Member, what we have been doing at the ministry is we have identified the critical positions and the critical areas, and where necessary, we have supplemented and we have supplemented the staff with short-term employees. So I am very surprised to hear you say that there are areas where there is skeletal staff and service has been compromised.
It
Our
has been.
experience is that is not the case.
And so therefore, line 22, commented to short-term employment, as you indicated, there's also a decrease of 5.192 million. And again, Madam Minister, how will the ministry operate with less staff? I mean, how will they be able to offer these services to the most vulnerable when it is we operate on a very small staff? And I mean,
When these figures were compiled, we would have had 169 short-term employees. 52 of those were, 43 of them were officers engaged on the recertification exercise. If you do a quick calculation, they were paid about $10,000 per month. If you do a quick calculation, you would see that it's 5 million, roughly equates with their salary, annual salary. And they have since completed the exercise and are no longer with us. They would have left on the 30th of September. So this is why you would see this decrease reflected here.
okay, so those would have been for contracts that may have come to an end?
No, they were there to engage in a specific exercise, which was the recertification exercise to ensure that all persons in receipt of the food support had been assessed.
Line item 28. What are these services, other contracted services?
These other contracted services has to do with pest control, cost of contracts, roto bins, upkeep of premises, that type of thing.
37, there's a $2.5 million increase.
In addition, member, you would also find that we would pay PTSC here, where we have our elderly and children who ride free on the buses. So this would be covered here also to NIB to some extent for the printing of checks.
The El Damo bus you're referring to?
Yes.
What is the cost for the El Damo bus, Madam Minister?
We'd have to send that in writing.
And if I can get also, how many clients are being serviced? I don't need the names of the clients. I just need to know how
Over the
many clients
last
are being.
year, I think the figure was approximately 16,000 people would have utilized the service on 16,000 plus occasions, but we have a spreadsheet and we can send you that in writing.
Okay. Line item 37, the janitorial services. I saw there's an increase of 2.5. Does this increase represent arrears, or was there an increase in the cost of services?
This is to take care of the 14 social welfare offices. We have also now included the National Enrichment Center, and it provides for the quarterly shampooing and cleaning of carpets and cleaning of windows and that kind of thing.
Was that a new contract that was issued for the
It
carpet?
now includes NEC, but the other areas we have existing contracts.
Number 43, line 43. Again, there's an increase of 3 million. Can you indicate? Okay.
This honorable member, this would include arrears that we owe to some of our security providers.
So, can you repeat that, Madam?
This includes arrears that where we currently owe some of our security providers.
And this will be brought up to date after you
Yes.
pay this off? Okay, Madam.
Are you finished? Item 002, Division of Aging. Item 003, Social Welfare. Member for Kamutu Mansanilla.
Yes. Honorable Minister, line item 05, telephones. Is this landlines or a combination of landline and mobile? Or? And how many persons benefit? Is this for employees with mobiles and
Yes.
and how many persons really benefit from this?
We would have to provide you with that in writing.
Okay, and with this, okay, and with line item 10, I'm here specifically dealing with office stationery and supplies to the welfare, social welfare, which would be for all the offices.
All the
It's
offices.
all the satellite offices, right?
Yes.
All right, so therefore, and how many offices are there?
14.
14. And you have between 14 offices, you have $451,400.
Honorable members, if it is, we are just speaking specifically about the local boards, it's 10 in Trinidad, 1 in Tobago.
All right, okay. But, how many? Okay. That's it, Madam Speaker.
You're finished?
With that line item, yes?
Yes, please. Item 005, Child Development Service Center. Item 006, National Family Services. Item 007, Disability Affairs Unit. Subhead 03, Minor Equipment Purchases. Item 001, General Administration. Item 002, Division of Aging. Item 003, Social Welfare. Item 005, Child Development Center. Item 006, National Family Services. Item 007, Disability Affairs Unit Member for Kamuto Manzanilla. We're at page 405.
Oh, okay, no, go ahead.
Subhead 04, Current Transfers and Subsidies. Item 005, Non-Profit Institutions. Item 006, Educational Institutions. Item 007, Households. Member for Carney East.
Honorable Minister, there, under line item 020, line item 04, no, 030405, there have been decreases of 54 million for the senior citizens grant. And for the social assistance grant, there is a decrease of 31 million. And for urgent temporary assistance, 110 million. And as I'm on that, the disability grant, there is a decrease of 45 million. So there is a decrease of $221 million in these four areas. Could you give us a little understanding of the reasons for the decrease?
Madam Minister.
And remember, in terms of the 3 major grants, I can give you the assurance that in the mid-year review, if the need arises, we will go back to the Minister of Finance and we would receive the necessary allocations. As I would have indicated in my opening statement, we have over the past 4 years ensured that all of those beneficiaries were paid on time and the correct amounts, and we will continue to do so.
So this might not be indicative of the situation 6 months down the line. It can possibly change. You're not too sure where we're going with it.
This government has given the commitment to take care of our poor and vulnerable, and we will continue to do so.
All right. Thank you. Not at all, but Minister. No, I just
Are you
want to
finished,
ask.
Member for Carney East?
Yeah, Minister, could you give us and to the country the senior citizens grant? How many people benefit from
Currently, as at the end of September, there were 99,332 persons.
199,000.
99,332.
And the social assistance?
The social assistance, last year, we would have had 25,502 persons.
Urgent temporary assistance?
Urgent temporary assistance, this covers our 13 general assistance grants. Last year, I believe the figure was 1,000, just now. I think it was 1,386.
And the disability?
You asked a question just now in terms of item 04, where there's a increase of $110 million.
Yes.
And I just want to bring to the attention of this committee and the general public that this has to do with the fact that last year, in terms of the October-November floods, we would have paid $138.4 million in flood relief grants.
All right, okay. So
And-
that would have accounted for the revised estimate of 140 million?
Yes, yes.
Okay, understand.
And in terms of item 08, the disability grant, as at the end of September, there were 23,344 persons in receipt of that disability grant.
23,000. Thank you very much, Minister.
Member for Kamuta Mansanella?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Minister, line item 04. You raised the issue of the flooding victims being paid out of this UTA line item. Can the minister indicate what has become of the $45 million that was allegedly taken by a member of the, at least that's what was said, the Prime Minister indicated that $45 million was taken by there's an irregularity in terms of some member of the staff. Can the
Honourable
minister?
member, I am certain the Prime Minister would not have said that.
Madam,
We had a situation, we had incidents of fraud, the police were called in, and I believe that there are 18 persons currently who were arrested and charged. 3 were former employees of the ministry. But there was no incident of $45 million being fraudulently taken from the ministry.
so it was less than that?
Sorry?
It was less than that or more than that?
I am certain it was not $45 million.
Okay, whatever the figure is, can the minister indicate whether attempts have been made to have those monies recovered?
As I would have indicated previously, those persons were arrested and charged, and those matters are now before the court.
Line item 02 and 08. I noticed there's a decrease, and I was wondering with the government's decision to increase grants to senior citizens and for disability, how will this decrease in allocation impact upon persons that being able to get their increased?
Honourable member, we have already started paying the increases, and as I indicated before, if necessary, in the mid-year review, we will have that situation rectified. But the government is going to honour its commitment to pay all of these benefit recipients the correct amounts.
And line item 40, does the minister know how many persons will be eligible for gratuity?
It is 269 persons.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Item 009, other transfers. Member for Kamuta Mansanella?
01, Honorable Minister, can you indicate with this meager increase of 500,000, this program is certainly oversubscribed, and I'm wondering, how many persons are actually assisted and how many persons are employed under this program? And is there any intention to expand it?
In fiscal 2019, 1,719 persons would have benefited from this program. Previously, we had approval for 600 caregivers. Cabinet last month would have approved an additional 200 persons. So we anticipate that in the mid-year review, we are going to have to seek approval for additional funds. But we recognize the need for additional caregivers, and that a note was taken to Cabinet, and Cabinet has approved 200 additional caregivers.
And line item 02, this $4 million increase, is this for arrears?
No. This
None of it is for arrears?
No.
All right, okay. Go ahead.
Subhead 06, current transfers to statutory boards and similar bodies.
Yeah, Madam Chair. Just one question there.
Where are you?
Well, when you want me to speak?
Oh, okay, so let me call it. So,
Yeah.
no, when I ask where you, you will
Yeah,
be
right
in
there.
where we're going on to, right?
Yeah,
Okay, good,
page
fine.
408.
Honourable members, we will now move on to the draft estimates.
No, I wanted to ask a question on 408. Page 408.
Statutory body.
Current transfers and
Yeah,
statutory board. A small question.
Wait, just here.
Huh?
We now come into there. Current transfers to statutory boards and similar bodies.
No, I am on page 408 of the,
Oh, but
where is it?
that's not the summary that you're in there now? And we're going now to the actual details? Or you want to ask on the summary specifically?
All right, I see what you mean.
You see what I mean? So, all right, okay. So can I proceed then?
Sure.
Thank you. Honorable members, we will now move on to the draft estimates of the revenue and expenditure of the statutory boards and similar bodies and of the Tobago House of Assembly. 15. Trinidad and Tobago Association for Retarded Children,
Yeah.
Lady Ochoy Home. Subhead 01, personal expenditure. We are at page 523.
It's just a simple,
Item 001, Lady Ochoy Home North. That's where you are, member for Caroni East.
no, I will wait.
No, this is it here.
No, the question I want to ask.
Item 00, member for Kamuta Mansinala.
Yes, thank you. Line item 01, salaries and cost of living. How many persons are employed?
Member?
I asked a question, Honorable Minister.
Madam Chair, we will submit that in writing.
And if also you can indicate what is the ratio of persons employed to children being cared for. And if it will be easier, Madam Chair, I will request it for all the.
Item 002, Lady Ochoy Home South.
Same thing.
Item 003, Penal Daycare and Training Center.
Same thing.
Minister,
Yes.
okay? Yes. Subhead 02, Goods and Services. Item 001, Lady Ochoy Home North. Item 002, Lady Ochoy Home South. Item 003, Penal Daycare and Training Center. Subhead 03, Minor Equipment Purchases. Item 001, Lady Ochoy Home North. Item 002, Lady Ochoy Home South. Item 003, Penal Daycare and Training Center. Subhead 04, Current Transfers and Subsidies. Item 007, Households. Item 009, Other Transfers. 41, Trinidad and Tobago Association for the Hearing Impaired. Subhead 01, Personal Expenditure. Item 001, General Administration, at page 531. Item 001, General Administration. Member for Kamuta.
No, next one.
Subhead 02, Goods and Services. Item 001, General Administration. Member for Kamuta Mansinela.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Line item 22, short-term employment. I see it's a new sub-item. If the Honorable Minister could indicate how many persons would be employed on short-term,
Madam
as
Chair,
well as the 28. But you don't have to give it to me now.
okay. We will do that, Madam Chair.
Subhead 03, Minor Equipment Purchases. Item 001, General Administration. Subhead 04, Current Transfers and Subsidies. Item 007, Households. Item 009, Other Transfers. 42, Trinidad and Tobago Blind Welfare Association. Subhead 01, Personnel Expenditure. We are at page 537. Item 001, General Administration. Subhead 02, Goods and Services. Item 001, General Administration. Subhead 03, Minor Equipment Purchases. Item 001, General Administration. Subhead 04, Current Transfers and Subsidies. Item 007, Households. Honorable members, we will now move on to the draft estimates of the development program. Subhead 09, Development Program. We are at page 166. Consolidated Fund. Item 004, Social Infrastructure. Item 005, Multi-sectoral and other services. Honorable members, the question is that the sum of $4,968,500,000 for Head 78, Ministry of Social Development and Family Services, stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. The sum of $4,968,500,000 for Head 78, Ministry of Social Development and Family Services now stands part of the schedule. Thank you, Madam Minister. Thank you, Madam PS. Head 68, Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs. Members, we are at page 353. Head 68, Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs, $301,504,178. I will now invite the Minister of Sport and Youth Affairs to make a brief opening statement for a maximum of 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs is mandated to facilitate the development of sport and physical recreation and to act as an enabling organization for youth development. This mandate is primarily driven by its Division of Physical Education and Sport and Division of Youth Affairs. The other units lending support to the ministry's operations are General Administration, Accounts, Human Resource Management Services, Information Technology, Monitoring and Evaluation, Project Management, Research and Planning, Audit, Legal, and Procurement. The ministry is also assisted in executing its mandate by the Sport Company of Trinidad and Tobago, which serves as the implementation arm and fulfills 3 key roles: the promotion of the concept of sport for all, the construction of high-quality sport and recreational facilities for both communities and high performance, and the provision of oversight for the management of the national governing bodies for major sporting disciplines. The ministry's mission is to coordinate and facilitate the delivery of quality development services with special emphasis on the enhancement of youth and sport for recreation. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable members, the question is that the sum of $301,504,178 for Head 68, the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs, stand part of the schedule. Honorable members, the sum of $301,504,178 for Head 68, Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs, is comprised of monies proposed for expenditure under the following subheads and items to be found in the draft estimates of recurrent expenditure and the draft estimates of development program. We now proceed to consider the draft estimates of recurrent expenditure. Subhead 01, Personnel Expenditure. Item 001, General Administration. Item 002, Physical Education and Sports Division. Item 005, Youth Affairs. Item 006, National Youth Development and Apprenticeship Centers. Subhead 02, Goods and Services. Item 001, General Administration. Item 002, Physical Education and Sport Division. Item 003, Dwight York Stadium. Item 004, Youth Centers. Item 005, Youth Affairs. Member for Princeton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Minister, line item 16, contract employment. There's no figure revised estimates for 2019, but there was allocation of 2 million in 2019. This time in 2020, there's an allocation of 4.5 million. Would you be able to clarify for us what took place in 2019, seeing that there's no figure here, and what would account for such a large increase for contract employment under 005, please?
Can you point me to what page you're referring to?
We're on page
please?
358.
358. Okay, contract employment for youth affairs.
Yes.
We used to have in the years 2008, 2009 youth development officers. And when the ministry was moved to gender affairs, those that wasn't continued, they were not hired. So we're now bringing on, again, the youth development officers 1 and 2, and that's about 32 positions. Now, these officers cover different geographical areas of Trinidad, because in Tobago it's under the THA. So you spread these officers throughout the different youth facilities throughout Trinidad and Tobago, and they cover managing the youth groups, helping them with succession planning, helping to deliver youth programs in these different communities. So we advertised for these positions earlier this year, and we did interviews around the June, July period, and they came on at the end of August. So we now have 30 youth development officers 1, and I think 2 youth development officer 2.
Okay. Now, Minister,
so we didn't have them last year, so they're all.
So the expenditure, if any, occurred, it would have been very small from this 2 million allocation. Yeah. Seeing
Yes.
that August was when you brought them on.
Yeah, they came on in August.
All right.
Item 006, National Youth Development Apprenticeship Centers. Subhead 03, Minor Equipment Purchases. Item 001, General Administration. Item 002, Physical Education and Sport Division. Item 003, Dwight York Stadium. Item 004, Youth Centers. Item 005, Youth Affairs. Item 006, National Youth Development and Apprenticeship Centers. Subhead 04, Current Transfers and Subsidies. Item 002, Commonwealth Bodies. Item 005, Non-Profit Institutions. Member for Princeton.
Thank you, Madam. Minister, line item 29, contribution to non-profit institutions, sporting organizations, with an allocation in 2020 of 21,450,000. Would the Honourable
I think
Minister...
you're in the wrong place. We're still on youth. Page 362.
Yeah,
Yes,
we're on
page
362, Minister.
Page 362.
Page 62, there are 2 contributions to non-profit. You're dealing with 29, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, sporting organization. I thought you were dealing
You
with
got it?
youth organization. Mhm.
Okay. Line item 29, the allocation in 2020, this financial year coming, 21 million, with having spent just 8,089,100 in 2019. Would you be kind enough to let us know which organizations, the non-profit institutions, would have benefited from this? And I'm guessing that, and you can probably clarify, that this is based on applications, or is it that there's a standard set of institutions that government provides subvention through this vote annually?
NPI, the NPI vote 29 is used to provide grant funding and support funding to national governing bodies that are under the remit of the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs, and we have 35 of those. If they're going abroad to represent Trinidad and Tobago, then you have those who are doing development programs. We also utilize this vote for to provide assistance to elite athletes, for also community groups that are doing sporting activities within Trinidad and Tobago. So it's a host of different items covered under this specific vote. You would see an increase which almost doubles the figure, because we had agreed to host the Commonwealth Youth Games in 2021. So we have to provide funding to the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee. This is where we provide money to TTOC also.
Okay.
And this is where we provide money for CPL also.
Okay. Minister, you mentioned earlier the issue of the elite athlete program. So the funding would come from this particular line item?
Yes.
Okay.
So individual athletes who are in the development stages, elite athletes, community groups, national governing bodies from Trinidad and Tobago Jump Rope Association to Scrabble Association to Canoeing Association. We have remit over 35 of them in the Ministry of Sport, and under Sport TT, about 15 under Sport TT.
Okay.
Item 007, households. Member for Urupuch West.
In line, item 05, National Incentives and Reward Initiative. I just need to know, how does one apply to this program, this initiative program here, and how many persons benefited? Is there criteria, set criteria to apply, so one may apply
you
to it?
can't apply for national rewards and incentives. National and Rewards Incentives Program is to provide incentives or rewards for athletes who would have medals at regional and international sporting meets. So, for instance, Commonwealth Games, the Olympics, international championships, that kind of thing. That's what this vote covers. So we're talking about Olympics, World Cups, Central American Caribbean Games, World Cup qualifiers, and so on. So the Cabinet would have taken the decision to provide incentives. We would have done consultations with the different sporting entities throughout Trinidad and Tobago, and we would have also done a comparative analysis looking at the reward system in other countries in the world throughout the region, and based on the medal that you would have accomplished, you're given an incentive.
But how many persons
During-
benefited thus far from this?
The list of people for rewards and incentives, I can provide that to you later, but last year we would have spent, so far we would have spent $8 million in rewards and incentives, and that covered the years 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and part of 2019 for the Special Olympics that would have taken place in April of this year. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Member for Chaguanas.
Honourable Minister, just a quick one in terms of the line item 06. I just want to get a sense, since I am seeing it started in 2019. Could you give me an idea as to what this is, the Youth Skills Development Program?
Okay, Youth Skills Development Program. When I assumed duties at the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs, we recognized that we have these 7 youth facilities throughout Trinidad and Tobago, but youth programs were not being run at the facilities. So we developed a program called the LEAP program. It stands for Leadership, Employability, Entrepreneurship, Activism and Patriotism, and we get stakeholders from throughout the public and private sector to come and deliver classes or sessions for these young people, teaching them how to write resumes, how to develop a business plan, dining etiquette, interviewing skills, how to dress for work, that kind of thing. So far we have had at least 3 cycles of this program, and at least about 400 graduates of this program, and we go from place to place in these in our different youth facilities. And where we don't have youth facilities or youth center, we would work through a community center. We have worked with communities both in Trinidad and in Tobago in providing this service to young people.
What, oh, sorry, can I ask, what age group?
Age group is from 16 to 29, but if somebody is 12 years old or younger and they come and we won't turn them back. But the target group really is 16 to 29 because the age for youth covered by the ministry is 12 to 29. So if somebody younger than 16 comes, we don't turn them back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Item 009, other transfers.
Yeah.
Member for Caroni East.
Madam Minister, the sports company, line item 04. The allocation has been given for an increase of 35 million. Is there any special program or something the sports company is going to undertake?
But that's for the recurrent expenditure for sports company, and they are responsible for, that provides assistance also for the 15 NGBs under their watch, for payment of salaries, for maintenance of facilities, and that kind of thing.
Now, I'm seeing a difference. In 2019, 55 million was expended, but you have an allocation in 2020 for 36 million more, approximately. So
Yes, we have some outstanding bills to pay that's to the tune of about $38 million. So this would help to cover some of that outstanding cost.
Thank you.
Yes.
Member for Princestown.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Minister, just a query on the same line item, the Sport Company of Trinidad and Tobago with an increase of 35 million. Now, I know you did indicate that this is sometimes used to pay for upkeep of facilities and so on through the sport company. I know in the past that UDECOT would have done the work on the Brian Lara Stadium. The question that I have with respect to this particular line item is that even though UDECOT does the work for the Brian Lara Stadium, sometimes the funding may come through the sport company. I'm not too sure if this is the arrangement in this particular case. But in light of the Prime Minister's announcement that additional work will have to be done in order for the facility to be accredited, can you indicate whether or not that funding will come from here and whether or not they, out of this allocation, you have a ballpark figure of how much
It's
it will cost?
certainly not from this allocation because this is recurrent expenditure. So I know for sure it's not from this allocation. When the development of Brian Lara, when the construction work was ongoing, it was a PSIP item, but it's no longer a PSIP item right now as we speak. If we go in to do some more works, which we intend to towards ICC accreditation, then we would have to redevelop or reactivate line item under the PSIP for the PSIP. Yeah.
Just to get you clear, at this point, there's no ballpark figure in terms of how much the work would cost in order to complete for accreditation.
Well, a major part of the accreditation, of what's needed for accreditation is fixing the traffic, fixing the roads in order to treat with traffic problems, the flow of traffic in and out of the Brian Lara Academy, and that is being handled by the Ministry of Works and Transport. So you would have seen that when you would have asked questions to Works and Transport, or when they come, you can investigate that matter.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Okay.
Item 011, transfers to state enterprises. Member for Caroni East.
Minister, Honorable Minister, 01 for Citizens Bank Limited repayment of loan, Brian Lara Cricket Stadium. 67 million approximately was paid in 2018. And 2019, it was estimated at 71 million was paid. 2020, there is no payment made for that. That probably suggesting that the loan payments have been completed. Could you give us an appreciation of what was the total loan for the brand from the First Citizens Bank for that?
Page
Probably the Minister of
363.
Finance might help you there.
I don't have that information. I'd be happy to provide it at a later date. But if I'm not mistaken, we would have completed payment of that loan in September.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
so far, about 138 million was paid in 2 years.
I would be happy to provide that information to you. I wouldn't want to guess, and I wouldn't want you to guess either. So I'll provide that information to
Yeah,
you
all
later.
right. I see the
Yes?
Minister of Finance is searching, but probably he might have the answer there. Oh, all right.
Okay,
Good, good. I thought you were going to provide it.
Member for Caroni East, any more questions
No,
on
no,
this?
I'm completed, Madam.
Honorable members, we will now move on to the draft estimates of the development program. Subhead 09, Development Program, Consolidated Fund, we are at page 148. Item 004, Social Infrastructure. Members, honorable members, you may observe that this item spans 3 pages. Therefore, I will also announce the project groups. C, Sports. D, Youth Development. Item 005, Multi-sectoral and Other Services. We now go on to the Infrastructure Development Fund, page 229. Item 004, Social Infrastructure. Honorable members, you may observe that this item spans 2 pages. Therefore, I will also announce the project groups. C, Sports. D, Youth Development. Honorable members, the question is that the sum of $301,504,178 for Head 68, Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs, stand part of the schedule. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. The sum of $301,504,178 for Head 68, Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs, now stands part of the schedule. Okay, so. All right, so honorable members, this standing Finance Committee is suspended to Monday, the 21st of October, 2019 at 10 a.m. I wish everybody a safe journey home and a good and restful weekend.